Our day is not over just yet.
Woohoo! USA! USA!
We have an action-packed hour for you 6 p.m. drivers.
Would I rather be feared or loved? Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
Matt Skraby wraps up a full day of live and local sports talk.
And that is the whole problem with aliens. You just can't trust them. Occasionally you meet a nice one, but usually they turn out to be some kind of big lizard.
The Skraby Show starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show for December 12th, 2025. I am Matt Skraby. Thank you for listening. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight, everybody. I'm going to get a little on my high horse about rumors that are going around about the Padres. And then Notre Dame, obviously, has been in the news all week long about not making the college football playoff, taking their ball and going home and not playing in a bowl game. Well, Jeremiah Love, running back for Notre Dame, he was asked about it today because the Heisman Trophy ceremony, and there's also a college football award show going on right now. But he was asked about it, and I love his answer. I absolutely love his answer. And I have to think that if he's saying that, then a lot of his teammates probably think that as well. So we'll talk about that. We'll play that audio in the next segment. But I wanted to start with the St. Jude Radiothon that's happening. Now, if you've been listening to the show, you heard John at 5:20. He came in and he was talking about how to donate and everything. Now, they are almost done. They have one more hour left, and they've been doing it for 24 plus hours. So I really want to help them in my little tiny way get to a goal because they put in a ton of work to this. KSON puts in a ton of work. Producer Jessica puts in a ton of work. John and Tammy obviously put in a ton of work. And so I want to help them get to $300,000. So if you are out there and you would like to donate, any sort of contribution is accepted. You can text KSON up until 7 p.m. I'm sure you could do stuff after 7 p.m. But to donate, text KSON to 785-833 or call 800-779-5121. So text KSON to 785-833 or call 800-779-5121. Now, cancer is awful, as we all know, and all of us have been affected by it. But I can't even imagine childhood cancer. Like it boggles my mind as to how sad that all is. But St. Jude is a place where these people go and they don't have to pay to get better. They don't have to pay for treatment. And I think that is, in this day and age, one of the most awesome things out there. And also, you heard John say earlier, if they find different remedies, they share it with everyone for free. So I can stand behind an organization like that, St. Jude, if they're doing the right things. And we need more of that in this day and age. We need more of that from businesses, organizations, hospitals, and universities. We need more of that from people. So I want to help any way I can, and that is by mentioning it here. Again, you can text KSON to 785-833 or call 800-779-5121. All right, I'm going to have that ticker on the bottom of the YouTube for the rest of the show. But we are going to get into rumors here in just a second. And I titled the YouTube today, Skraby is done with rumors. And I am done with rumors because rumors, I like them because it helps. It is a fun way to think about certain things happening for your team. But we just get it's the wild, wild west. If you don't have Twitter accounts that are fake accounts, or you have people purposely reporting false news, I am done with it all. I am tired of the posts with no proof whatsoever. It would be really easy for me to go out there and to say that, oh, I'm hearing that Mason Miller is going to be the main piece in the Tarek Skubal trade to the Padres. I keep using Tarek Skubal, and he's in his own class, but you get what I'm saying. There's no basis to that. But it doesn't stop some reporters. I'm not going to call anybody out by name because if you're at the top, you have worked very hard to get there, and you do have sources. So I can't say that those guys are lying. But like accounts like Underdog Sports, they tweeted out earlier like a trade rumor about Mason Miller and everything. And I'm like, why are we even giving this tweet any sort of run at all? Because there's no basis for it at all. Here it is from Underdog. Heyman, Padres are listening on Mason Miller and Nick Pivetta. The asking price is high, and San Diego is still looking to add starting pitching. Just because Heyman said Padres are listening on Mason Miller and Nick Pivetta does not mean we need to tweet this. Heyman tweeted it. This, and I get it. This Underdog account is just, trying to spread news to grow itself and get more eyeballs on their tweets and everything. But this is not news to me. We have been talking about this all week. The line, Heyman, Padres are listening on Mason Miller and Nick Pivetta. The asking price is high, and San Diego is still looking to add starting pitching. Now, I'm really singling out Underdog right now because this is what I saw that spurred me into thinking about talking about this. But nothing in this tweet that was posted this morning at 7:45 is new. Maybe John Heyman saying it is new. I would have to go back and see when he said it. But this is the stuff that I don't like. I don't like these posts that make it seem like it's going to happen. And again, I know it's social media and I know it's Twitter and I know that people say crazy things, but I'm just tired of the rumors. And even when AJ Preller comes out and says that Fernando Tatis Jr., he didn't use the words untouchable, but he inferred he was untouchable. Like I wouldn't even be surprised if he was angry about how many times he was asked about it because he never says anything. And he came out and he said, hey, Fernando is untouchable in certain words, not those words specifically. But I'm still seeing people saying that it's going to happen. Fernando's going to get traded. Don't listen to AJ Preller. And maybe I shouldn't listen to AJ Preller, but hey, I'll believe the guy when he says that Fernando Tatis Jr. is untouchable because Fernando Tatis Jr. should be untouchable. He should not be in the topic of trade conversations at all. At all. And so this whole trade scenario between the Mets and the Padres has grown into another whole thing altogether. And MLB Network this morning, or maybe not MLB Network, MLB Network Radio, I believe, this morning, the leadoff spot, they started talking about this rumor. And here is what Steve Phillips said on this show about the Padres and Francisco Lindor.
And the Padres are going to trade for Lindor. You know those Lindor candies that you can get? Yeah, Francisco Lindor is going to be a Padre.
No, Steve.
Right now, there are
Steve,
all kinds.
Steve, no. They need to unload, not get. No. That's not happening.
Well, no, it's going to be that they're going to have to give back Bogarts in the deal, and so the Mets clubhouse issue has come to a head, and Soto's winning out. And the reports out there are that the Padres, who we heard were working on blockbuster deals, have made offers to the Mets on Francisco Lindor.
So there you go. They're reporting that the Padres have already made offers on Francisco Lindor. But, I guess they're kind of acting as their own sources. But Steve Phillips says, quote, Francisco Lindor will be a Padre. The Padres have already made offers on Lindor. Now, is this because I'm in the business of radio? I'm in the business of talk radio, so I can understand discussing something to kill a segment or something. But like this whole thing is just rumor to me until something actually happens. Like I was thinking more about this trade scenario with Mason Miller and Xander Bogaerts for a Francisco Lindor, and the more I think about it, the more I realize that the Xander Bogaerts contract is probably immovable as is, because yes, Lindor's making $32 million for the rest of his contract. Xander Bogaerts making $25.5 million through the rest of his contract, but Xander Bogaerts is older than Francisco Lindor. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, why in the world, other than maybe too, like they said, there's some clubhouse things going on. And I know that there's been clubhouse things with Lindor in the past, but I just have to think, why would the Mets take on this Xander Bogaerts contract? If you are able to just put your differences aside and keep Lindor on the team, he's the better player in this whole thing. So obviously I understand why the Padres are trying to get out of this contract, if they're trying to. But I don't know that this is in the best interest of the Mets. And yes, they get Mason Miller in the whole thing, but I feel like a trade of Francisco Lindor bringing in Xander Bogaerts and his contract. I'm not saying that he won't play well. He'll probably play better at Citi Field than he would at Petco Park. But the contract is just too long and has too much money left on it. And so that's why I'm thinking that these are just dreams that we're all talking about right now. These are just rumors that we're all talking about right now. So to close up the entire thing on this, I'm done with rumors. I want to see real action. I want to see real people put their names on it. All right, there was my long rant to start the show. And the reason I'm done with rumors is because I just don't want to give any oxygen to them in this way. I don't want to give any oxygen to them because I don't want the people who are DMing me to think that this is truth. Like, that's why I don't want to give it oxygen, because sometimes people will believe it and then they'll be like, well, Skraby said it was true. That is not true. I did not. I said I do not like the rumors. All right. That's enough complaining for this segment, because we do have a daily gripe later. So I'm going to have to go and daily gripe it a little bit later. But when we get back, we're going to shift gears a little bit and we're going to go back, or we're going to go to college football. I have not talked about the Notre Dame situation here on the show, on the Skraby Show. And running back Jeremiah Love was asked about everything today, and he had an answer that I can stand behind. So stick with me. Jeremiah Love, what did he say about Notre Dame dropping out of a bowl game? We'll play it next. since we're doing good for St. Jude, I'm going to do good for someone else. Matt Skraby back with you, 97.3 The Fan. If we're looking for sports news, Fernando Mendoza took home 2 awards ahead of the Heisman Trophy ceremony, so maybe he'll be taking home the Heisman Trophy as well. If you want to watch the show, you can just go to Facebook and type in 97.3 The Fan, or you can go to my YouTube at The Skraby Show. You can go to 97.3 The Fan's YouTube. You can go to 97.3 The Fan on Twitch, and then 97.3 The Fan SD on X. We got the 97.3 The Fan account on X. So if you do go to the YouTube, you'll see on the bottom is scrolling the phone numbers to donate for St. Jude up until KSON is closing up at 7 p.m. They've been on the air for over 24 hours. So we got about 40 minutes left to help them out. But if you were listening to the show earlier today, you heard me talking about how I took a cooking lesson last night. And the cooking lesson was a part of my other job, Voice of San Diego, their holiday party. And so I wanted to, just mention Kitchens for Good because it impressed me last night. They didn't ask me to mention, they didn't even know who I was because, honestly, why? Why would they know who I was? So it's not like they went up to me and they're like, can you mention it? No, I'm mentioning it because it was great. And Kitchens for Good is an organization that helps people experiencing homelessness or trying to get out of homelessness. They're also helping with people who are getting out of, incarceration, trying to turn their lives around. So they have these programs where they come in and they can learn to be a chef, or they can learn to be like an assistant chef. I don't know if that's the name, but it's all for a good cause. So if you're looking for cooking lessons, because the way they fund the programs for everyone else is they do these cooking lessons. So if you're looking for cooking lessons, check out Kitchens for Good. It's right next to the Sharp Hospital. And it was kind of a trip because I went to rehab right around there at the Sharp Hospital. So it was like I was driving down the street. I'm like, man, there are so many memories right now going through my head. But it was all a good time. It was good for us as a group to get together and do that. I made, as Chris said, he said it's pad thai, but I'm getting information saying it's pad thai. So we'll see what happens. I wanted to read this real quick. Irie Fan Geek 1624 says, all I hear is pitching, pitching, pitching. AJ always figures out pitching. It's finding that slugging back. That's been the problem. I kind of think Petco Park is the problem a little bit because it seems like no one can hit at Petco Park, but we've seen the visiting team hit home runs at Petco Park. Pitching, the reason I think we need pitching is because I don't know that their offense is going to get that big bopper. I actually don't really like saying big bopper, but I did. They need someone with thump, and maybe they could bring back Ryan O'Hearn, Gavin Sheets, obviously. But I don't know it's as easy to address the slug in the team as it is to address pitching, because pitching, the cliche, you can never have enough pitching. And I believe it because you can see it sometimes. Teams fail because they don't have either a good bullpen or they don't have a good back of the rotation. But the pitching is what I think people are focusing on because every other team is focusing on pitching as well. Now, the Blue Jays made a move today, and they made a move to sign Tyler Rogers, who formerly was with the Giants and then the Mets last year at the end of the year after he was traded. But he signed for 3 years, $37 million, which makes a 6th, 7th inning guy worth $12 million a year, which is kind of insane. I am not sure why the Blue Jays paid him that, but hey, good for Tyler Rogers. He kind of stole some money. He had a very nice season last year. He had really good baseball savant numbers. So I'm not saying he's not worth that, but it doesn't seem like he's a guy who would be fetching $12 million a year to pitch the 6th or 7th inning. Maybe they have different plans for him. Maybe they think that they could use him, later in the game. But I mean, that sets a market up for a lot of overspending. And I can see teams saying, no, we're not going to pay our 6th inning guy $12 million a year. I can see that. So the conspiracy out there is that the Blue Jays wanted to upend the market, and so they overpaid Tyler Rogers, which I don't necessarily believe in this conspiracy, but it does make some sense to me. But Tyler Rogers, by him accepting a 3-year, $37 million deal, that means that all the other pitchers are going to be like, well, Tyler Rogers got $12 million, so I want $12 million. And it's just going to cause chaos, which, as I said earlier, I do love chaos, but I just don't know. Like what the Blue Jays were doing in this situation. I feel like this is not a contract that's going to sink them, but it's not a great contract in my opinion. Now that I said that, Tyler Rogers is going to be the best relief pitcher next year. Oh, I got the real pronunciation, the Thai pronunciation is pot Thai, P-A-H-T, Thai. Thank you, Nessa. Pot Thai. Hey, that's what I made last night, and it was delicious. Need a little bit more spice in it. I did. All right. College football playoff. I've kind of stayed out of these conversations on Gwen and Chris because, for the most part, I'm over college football, like the big college football, like the college football playoff. I think college football is very important for a lot of different reasons, but I'm over the greedy conference presidents, and I'm over the NCAA. I'm over all the things that have happened with college football as of late. But Notre Dame is the laughing stock of college football at the moment because they reacted so strongly to being left out of the college football playoff. They accused the ACC of trying to sabotage them. And they're not even in the ACC, which they are in other sports, but not for football. Football, they're famously independent. And so it's just been a weird week for Notre Dame. I talked to my Notre Dame friend the other day, and he's embarrassed about his program. He's embarrassed about it. So Jeremiah Love, star of the team, he is running back for the Fighting Irish. And this is the first time that he has had a chance to be asked by the media about being left out of the college football playoff. I'm going to play this audio of him today, but I will have to say that it is slightly difficult to hear. There's just background noise. So I will talk about it after it's done.
Me personally, it was hard because I wanted to play in the college football playoff. Like, everybody wants to. We go through this long and rigorous season of playing games week after week, and at the end of it all, we didn't get into the playoffs. It was hard for me, but I've accepted it, and I'm just down about it. But the team in general, we were in charge of our own destiny. We put ourselves in this situation. So, everybody just accepted it. Obviously, we're sad about it. We're down about it. But at the end of the day, we got to get right back to work and get prepared for the next season. But yeah, man, it definitely sucked, not being the last team to get into the playoffs.
Love what Jeremiah Love just said. No pun intended. Love it. He said they controlled their own destiny, said he was down about it, felt out about it. He really wanted to see what they could do in the college football playoff, but ultimately it was the team's fault for not playing well enough to get into the college football playoff. Like, I wish Jeremiah Love was the one who was dealing with everything and not the Notre Dame athletic director, because the Notre Dame athletic director went scorched earth on so many people. Jeremiah Love is actually on the team, and he's like, hey, we didn't play well enough to make the college football playoffs, so it's our fault. We were talking about this earlier on Gwen and Chris about taking responsibility. And when I went through my rehab program, you have to learn to take responsibility for things that you do. And that's what he's doing. So this is a welcome addition to the conversation. I wish that, I'm sure, excuse me, I almost went down the Tony road of the voice. I'm sure that the athletic director went and talked to the team and all that stuff. But I feel like he is making this a bigger deal than it actually is for the team. I think that the athletic director is using this to play politics about conferences and the college football playoff and things like that, instead of, maybe doing what the team actually wants to do. Because sitting out of a bowl game because you didn't make the college football playoff as a protest is lame. It is not my favorite thing. That is the antithesis. I think I used this word correctly. That is exactly what society is all about these days. And the Notre Dame athletic director said, hey, this is how we do it these days. We're just going to sit out. And if you don't know, when these teams go to different bowl games and stuff, if you don't know, they get swag. They get like a bunch of free stuff depending on what bowl game you play in. I remember years ago when Sony was sponsoring a bowl game, all those players got like PS3s or PS4s. So there is a real benefit to going. Some of these guys, most of these guys on that Notre Dame team are not going to play professionally. So I got to think that they're feeling a little some type of way, if this is their last year playing football, that a unilateral decision was made by the athletic director to keep them out of a bowl game. They still would have gone to a nice bowl. I get why the athletic director, Pete Bavacqua, I get why he thought this was probably the right way to go. I do. I understand that, because he's like, you know what? I'm gonna raise hell. I'm gonna get angry, and people are going to support me in this. People are gonna rally around Notre Dame and demand that they get back into the college football playoff. Well, that's not what happened. It ended up falling very flat, and it ended up seeming very selfish and very childish. So I love that I heard Jeremiah Love say, this was on us. This was our problem. We did not execute well enough to win enough games to easily put us into the college football playoff. So good. I'm glad at least one person at Notre Dame is thinking that way, because I can imagine there are more that just don't have on that team that just don't have the platform to say what he said. All right. Matt Skraby, Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan. We do have some football on right now. The FCS Championship quarterfinal is happening between Stephen F. Austin and Montana State. Montana State up 7-0. What I do love about these FCS games is that they're usually in really cold places, and so they end up having crazy weather games all the time. And right now at Montana State, it doesn't look too cold at all. It doesn't actually. Everybody's in short sleeves, which is kind of crazy. It's Montana, so usually pretty cold in Montana. Anyway, I'll stop talking about Montana. When we get back, we're just going to have a little bit of fun. We have the Daily Gripe. We have a lot more to go here on the Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan.
Quinn.
All right, final segment of the week for 97.3 The Fan. Thank you for joining me tonight. We have a daily gripe to go, which I think many people are going to identify with my daily gripe today. I bet you. Because it's something that I do on a daily basis. Not daily, but at least a couple times a week. For sure. So stay tuned for that. That's the last thing we do in the show. I meant to talk about this the other night, and I was fully ready to say that Justin Herbert went full heel recently because of his interview with Laura Rutledge after the game on Monday night. He just wanted to go hang out with his teammates and celebrate, man. Just want to go hang out with his teammates. And if you didn't see it, you can find it anywhere online. But he was trying to get away from Laura Rutledge, and then when she caught up to him and he answered her questions, he was kind of short, which is fine. I mean, those interviews after the game anyway, no one really cares about. It's more about like, hey, bro, you need to do it. But then I saw another video about Justin Herbert, and at first, I was like, man, this guy really is going for it. So a fan and his son were at the Monday Night Football game, and they the son asked Justin, can I get a picture? And apparently they say it's Justin Herbert saying, and the kid was wearing a Jalen Hurts jersey, I should say that. They're playing the Eagles. The alleged Justin Herbert said, quote, not while you're wearing that, bleep, bleep. That's all I could say about that. So he was saying that I'm not going to sign anything for you or take a picture with you for wearing a Jalen Hurts jersey. Now, here's the thing. I thought the voice sounded weird. Other people think the voice sounds weird. But a lot of people think that this is not Justin Herbert saying this. This video is not actually true. Justin Herbert did not say that. They're comparing voices, all this other stuff. And so the account, we're going back to Twitter accounts. The account that tweeted this out is known for this. I'm not even going to say the account name, but they're going to know. You're gonna, if you're familiar with Twitter and the different things that go on Twitter, you're gonna know who this person is because they just put up stuff and they don't really care if it's real or not. Anyway, long story short, Justin Herbert, I don't think has turned heel, but I do think that if he did turn heel, that would be kind of fun. You know, I've always really thought it would be fun to like be in a movie and be a bad guy in a movie. Who doesn't want to be a bad guy in the movie? No one wants to be a good guy in a movie. If you're going to be in a movie, you want to be a bad guy. So, anyway, that's my little thought on Justin Herbert. But I wanted to get away from sports for a second. I wanted to talk about something that I was talking about with my family last week, or Thanksgiving. And that is, we really miss those appointment watching times for the holiday movies, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or The Grinch. Like, I remember as a kid, and yes, I'm 40, so for some of you that's ancient, for others it's not, but I remember growing up and we would be waiting for like the entire month of November to get to Thanksgiving and then December. But we would wait and wait and wait until they played those movies. And I kind of miss appointment TV a little bit. I do. And the Christmas thing is I miss the Christmas part of it because even though I'm not much of a family oriented guy, I guess I like to do my own thing. We all just sat on the couch and watched those movies. And I remember Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, just watching it every single year. Now, obviously, you could just watch it whenever you want. So I think it takes a little bit of the nostalgia out of it. Because if you could put on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in July, it does not have as much impact in December. So we all agreed that appointment TV needs to come back, where everybody is sitting in front of the TV at a certain time. I remember when Survivor, the first season of Survivor, my family got really into it. And every time it aired, I believe it was at 8 p.m., we were sitting in front of the TV. That was the only place you could really do to watch that show. Now, obviously, you could probably go back and watch the first season all over again. But appointment TV seemed it made TV feel bigger to me. Because everybody was watching it. And I do like on demand, obviously. I like to watch what I want to watch on a consistent basis. I mean, 99% of the time, I'm fine with the on demand life we live in now. But my kids, my future kids, my nieces and nephews will never grow up to understand what it was like to have appointment viewing television. And that's kind of sad. I think that the DVR has ruined things, and the DVR maybe even ruined family time. Maybe that's going a little far, but I just loved it when I was a kid. We watched the entire movie. We would always be going to bed singing the songs and all that stuff. So, yeah. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but appointment TV seemed easier. And McKee says, Lethal Weapon is my favorite Christmas movie. I like Lethal Weapon. I'm not sure why Lethal Weapon is your Christmas movie. Usually it's Die Hard, I thought. We also have a comment from M. McKee. Watched the Stuart Scott doc last night. Thanks to you all. Sobbed for like 15 minutes. I have not seen the documentary yet, but I will eventually. I'm not a big... I mean, I like 30 for 30 and all that stuff, but I don't know if I'm really into seeing that right now. Oh, C. Greg 247 said Lost watch parties were lit. I remember I didn't necessarily watch Lost while it was on, but I remember people being very into that, and there would be parties for sure. And then you would break it down after the party. All of that stuff. But something my future kids will never be able to be a part of, is what I was trying to say there. All right. Edwin Diaz is talking. And I guess we'll talk about it. The trumpets at Citi Field, I'm not sure. I think it will. The trumpets will sound at Dodger Stadium. But I don't think it's going to be the same. And so Edwin Diaz said, it's going to be super emotional when the trumpets sound here at Dodger Stadium. It's going to be something special. He said his decision to leave the Mets wasn't easy. Quote, I spent 7 years in New York. They treated me really good. They treated me really great. I chose the Dodgers because they're a winning organization. I'm looking to win. And I think they have everything to win. Picking the Dodgers was pretty easy. Yeah. I like guys who forge their own path. I don't like, and I get it. This, if they're willing to pay him the 3 year, $69 million, then hey, he's going to go there. And yes, it's an easy decision when you're breaking records as being the highest paid relief pitcher ever. That is, that's an easy decision, because I'm not sure if any other team would have brought him in for the same contract. I don't think so. But I'm curious to see how this all works with Tanner Scott and Edwin Diaz and the back end of their bullpen. Because last year, obviously, Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott, not great. Edwin Diaz at times was great, but wasn't great at other times. So, I mean, Edwin Diaz is basically doing what guys do when they don't think they can win anywhere else, and that's join up with the best team, which is the Dodgers. So I'm not, again, I said this earlier in the week, I'm not angry at the Dodgers anymore. I'm angry at baseball for allowing this to happen. I'm angry at the teams that don't spend enough money at the bottom of the payroll list I'm angry at Rob Manfred because he just doesn't really seem to care. Every time you ask him about it, he says, "Oh, isn't this great for baseball?" Yes, it's great for baseball for you, Rob Manfred, because your your league is making a lot of money off of the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Roki Sasaki. So it's very easy to say that. And I'm just kind of, sometimes we need someone to stand up and be like, you know what? Yeah, it's great. They're making a lot of money, but this is not good for our game. And it doesn't seem like anybody else is going to do that at all. Doesn't seem like anybody's going to stand up and that can make a difference and be like, hey, we need to maybe change some things a little bit. Maybe get rid of that deferred money. Again, deferred money that the Dodgers did, not cheating. It's allowed. Other teams just didn't do it. And so when we saw Shohei Ohtani defer like $600+ million, we're like, huh? That's a thing? You could defer? And they took advantage of it. And so I can't be mad at them for doing something that's within the rules. I have to be mad at the people at the top, which includes Rob Manfred. Looking at you, Rob. Oh, Lex says on the chat, love the show, man. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Oscar says, Skraby, this is good for baseball. Please look at the ownership. I don't care about the ownership. What do I care? Magic Johnson? The guy buying the Lakers? This is not good for baseball. And again, I'm not focusing on the Dodgers themselves. I'm thinking about it from as a whole. It's not good for baseball. And I'm sure Oscar's a great listener. He's always here for the Skraby Show. I'm sure you heard it earlier this week. I basically said that the teams at the bottom are a bigger problem than the teams at the top because the teams at the bottom aren't trying at all and they're not putting any money into players at all. So if they're not going to put any money into players and they're not going to try, then it's really easy for the Phillies, the Dodgers, et cetera, to make an offer because no one else wants to. Here's what we said. What did we say in the Big Five? Okay. Kyle Tucker. These are the teams that were listed as being most likely for Kyle Tucker. Yankees, Giants, Mets, Blue Jays, Phillies, and Dodgers. Those teams are all teams that have lots of money. I think that's a problem. If Kyle Tucker's not even going to consider another team, these 6 teams, Yankees, Giants, Mets, Blue Jays, Phillies, and Dodgers, the rich are going to get richer. And that's the problem, is that it's not really a fair shot out there. But again, I'm going to look right at you, Marlins. You were the lowest paid payroll team in baseball last year. And that is disgusting to me. It's disgusting.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
All right, this is the Daily Gripe that I think a lot of people are going to identify with. And this has happened to me so many times this week. If I'm really busy or I'm stressed or I'm not sleeping as well, this happens a lot. But here's what the Daily Gripe is. You ever done this before? You walk out to your car, like today. I was walking out to go to work, had my backpack, had my water, all this stuff. I was ready to go. Sat in my car, realized, oh no, I forgot my Google Pixel Watch. I need it to track my heart rate. So I went back inside. But here's the Daily Gripe. I went back inside, and then I'm standing there, and I'm like, what did I come back inside for? I don't remember what I came back inside for. So I'm sitting there, or standing there, kind of thinking, what did I come back inside for? I'm looking around my kitchen. I'm looking around. I don't see it. I'm like, I can't remember what it is. So then I walk back out to my car and I'm like, whatever it was, it's not that important. And guess what happened next? Get to my car. I'm like, oh yeah, I need my Google Watch. So I go back inside And I'm not kidding, for like the first 2 minutes, I had no idea what I was looking for. And thankfully, it popped in my head, so I didn't walk out to the car for a second time and then walk back inside for a third time. My daily gripe is when I forget something and I go to get it, and then I can't remember what it was that I forgot. Threshold syndrome, Jacob says. I'm gonna have to look into this. And McKee says, just wait, it only gets worse with age. Great. Can't wait for this. And Jack says, senior Skrabe. Yeah, I can see that. All right, thanks everybody for listening and being here with us all week long. We got one more week before our vacation, but we'll be back with you on Monday. Good night.